Hello. Good morning. Okay. I literally just had, Curtis was just pouring the coffee as you can see it. You can see the steam still coming. So if that doesn't look cozy, I don't know what does. All right. Ooh, reading Cleopatra. What am I reading? For the first sprint, I'm actually not going to be reading. I'm going to be finishing up a video that's going up today. Yay. And then after that, I'll probably be reading some of The Little Friend and then potentially also another book. This I've been reading like 20 to 25 pages a day, just because I plan on reading through it this month. I've been making great progress. Yesterday, I passed the point where I got to like the last time that I was trying to read The Little Friend. Like I made it to, I think, 130 pages in, and now I'm officially past that again. So it's all new material for me, but it was, I keep saying 2021. I think it was actually 2020 was when I was originally reading this book. I'm pretty sure it was October of 2020. So I'm very happy about that. But then the other book that I am more like actively reading is The Grace Years, or The Grace Year. I think it's 1 year, which is has been a lot of fun. It's a YA, which I did not realize going into it, but I'm having a lot of fun reading it. The video is the 20 books I'm going to be reading in 2026. It also kind of wraps up my 25 in 2025 and talks about those books, the ones that I didn't get to, what I'm doing about that kind of a thing. I'm very behind on like the New Year content. I just it's too crazy. I was like, all right, if I can keep up with Herkyet, I'm gonna consider that a win. Herkyet and TBR Spin, like if I can keep those going, that's a win. Everything else is a bonus. And now I feel like I'm just starting to get back into my groove. So I have like two yearly content things that I want to come out. One is the video that's coming out today, and then the other one is the big book reading challenge. So wrapping up last year, talking about what I plan to read this year, big book wise. Obviously, this is going to be on the list. But yeah, it is kind of funny though, because I was editing that video and I recorded it like midway through February, and there's already books on it that I've read from that list. Morning, reading The Language of the Night by Ursula K. Le Guin, essays on writing, science fiction, and fantasy. She was a master of her craft. Yeah, I've only read one book by her, but it was really good. So I definitely plan on reading more from her. Hello. Hi, Amelia. So ready for this. I have so much to read. I know, me too. And I did like no reading when we were together last weekend. So I was like, we just need to do another one. So we've got technically 4 reading sprints in March because the first one was on March 1st for TBR Spin, but that one was like, we only got to do really a sprint and a half. So really like 3 live show reading sprints, not 3 literal reading sprints. That we're doing in March, which is very exciting. So, and I did post it on my community tab. So those are the dates. But basically it's today, March 14th and March 28th are the days. And the one that's on March 28th is for TBR Spin. Reading Catabasis. I was slow getting into it, but now I'm liking it. That is exactly how I felt about Catabasis, and I ended up really liking it. So hopefully you are on the same trajectory as I was. Reading Blacktop Wasteland. I haven't heard of that one. I like the name of it though. It sounds dystopian. Finished my first book from the International Booker long list and hoping to finish the second one today. That's awesome. Can't stay for long as I'm going to a party. Oh, yay! Dressing up as Emmylou Harris. Yep, it's a country themed. Oh, that's great. I hope there's pictures. That's awesome. My favorite so far is The Lathe of Heaven. Is this for Ursula K. Le Guin? I think so. Okay, so all I've read is The Left Hand of Darkness so far, but definitely plan on reading more. And she's usually in used bookstores, so that's helpful. I love like finding a new to me science fiction or fantasy author that has been writing for a long time. because it's so easy to find their stuff in used bookstores, and I love supporting used bookstores. I just want them to stay around forever. Good morning, everyone. Trying to decide whether to start my TBR spin book or work on finishing one of my current reads first. Open to opinions, chronically indecisive. Yeah, fair. Ooh, I'm gonna say current read because that's something I wish people would tell me when I'm reading. I mean, obviously for TBR spin, well, no, because starting books during reading sprints is really underrated. Wait, maybe I've changed my mind. Because I do love starting my TBR spin books in sprints. And a little part of me is thinking about trying to get to the 50-page mark, at least in my March TBR spin book, because I really don't know if I want to read it or not. It's this one right here, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. I had this moment where I was like, oh, if I were to see this in the store today, I would not pick it up. Like, it's just not, synopsis wise, it's not my thing. I do like Stephen King. I enjoy reading Stephen King. I will say now doesn't feel like the time for it as much. I really love reading it towards the end of the year when we're in like full spooky season. But this isn't really like, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like a psychological thriller, but it's more about a this girl being like lost in the woods. It's like more survival story, it seems like, than like a true Stephen King feeling story. So, but I might try to get to the 50-page mark. I don't know. I could end up reading from 3 different books in this live show, as well as finishing up my video to go up today. So that's fun. I also need to start and finish my book club book before Wednesday. Yes, that's one of the books I might be reading for, is for a book club. Love it. What book is it for book club, Amelia? Just finished the book that wouldn't burn. Going to read The Grace of Kings during the sprint. I don't think I've heard of either of those. The Grace of Kings sounds like it's from a series. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll probably try to make some progress on my spin books, mostly Dorian Gray today. Yeah. Oh, I did finish The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, so I'm officially caught up in TBR spin. I only have my March book now, so. So excited when I saw you scheduling these sprints. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad. I know I do really want to try to like schedule for the month before the month. It's hard because I feel like all my friends do plans like more last minute, or like during the week they'll plan something for the weekend, and then like sometimes I'm like, well, I can't go. But that's honestly why doing these in the morning is so helpful, because like morning my time, because usually my friends don't want to get together until at least afternoon time. Such a cute kitty. Ooh, I wonder if this was about Zuko. I do think that he was running in and out of here. So I have a full black cat, Zuko. And then Scout over here is a tortoiseshell. And then we also have a like grayish tabby, Klaus. But yes, this is old lady Scout. She's sweet 16 and living her best life, ? Nobody knows anymore. She certainly complains more than she used to, but that's also because she's losing her hearing. So it's more just louder than it used to be. Hey Sam, glad you could join us. Oh, one of S.A. Cosby's. I don't actually know if I've read any of his. I don't think that I have. No, I don't think that I have. I'm going to read These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs. Awesome. And did I mention that I'm taking part in a read along for Ulysses? Oh, I do. I feel like we talked about Ulysses recently, but I don't know if I realized that you were doing a read along. That's the one that I haven't read. I always mix it up with the Odyssey. I've read the Odyssey. I haven't read Ulysses. I need to like drill that into my brain. I'm obviously a hopeless case of bookish overcommitment. Honestly, same. Same. I even put together my little TBR post for Patreon to like say what I was reading this month. Forgot a book that I'd already finished because I finished it like on the first or 2nd day of March, and that post went up on like the 3rd because I couldn't actually, no, I think it was after that even. I couldn't decide on what was going to be on my list. And I tried to do 8 books, and then so I put more on there because I forgot that I already finished one of them. Ugh, it's a mess. Everything's a mess. Reading We Are Green and Trembling for International Booker, and The Age of Calamities for the Weird Women Book Club. Wait, back up. What is the Weird Women Book Club? I need more. I need more information. For book club, it's a German book, not translated. Okay. Thank you so much for not just putting the German title in there. I would have very much struggled. Reading The Last Devil to Die by Richard Osman, hoping to finish it. I have 3 other books on the go, but picked this up for a lighter option and enjoying it. Nice. Yeah, I have 3 books on the go as well. Hoping to... There's the gray tabby. It's morning time and Curtis just woke up, so their energy spike is high, except for obviously Scout, who doesn't know any of this is happening around her. She can't hear it, which is probably really peaceful for her, honestly. But yeah, I also have 3 going on, so I totally understand. Hello, reading Wriggly Little Hands, a cozy fantasy. Really enjoying it. I haven't heard of that one. I definitely would remember that title. The Grace of Kings is the first book in the Dandelion Dynasty. It's a 4-book series. Yes, I'm so proud of myself for recognizing that as the name of a book that's in a series. I feel like they have very specific, I don't know, it's different. It's different for series. Okay, that's cool. I'll have to look. I feel like I really am loving like trilogy and quartets recently because I think I oftentimes will take on very large undertakings in series because I like the idea of like the challenge of it all. If you haven't noticed, I have a problem saying no to anything that seems any remotely like a challenge to me. But I'm starting to recognize the beauty of a series that's a little shorter. Starting my spin book. This is how you lose the time war for the first sprint. We'll see how I feel about it after that. A little nervous, seems hit or miss for people. Yeah, I would agree. I read that for a book club when I lived in Florida. That must have been like in one of the first years of that book club. And I think I was the one that picked it and I really didn't like it. And I think most people in the book club didn't like it, but if I had known fully what the feel of the book was, I wouldn't have recommended it for that book club just because the people, I feel like it didn't, I would have guessed that many of us wouldn't be into it. I would have guessed actually that I would be into it if somebody described it to me, but unfortunately I was not. Little part of me wants to go back and try. It's just lyrical writing. I'm still working on my way to liking lyrical writing. I did it for River Solomon though. Their book, The Deep, I liked that one, and that had lyrical writing, not as lyrical, but read my February book, but not January. My January choice is a heavy book, so I'm not motivated to pick it up. Yeah, that's fair. That's another reason why I start them in here, because like that's what would happen to me all the time. If I got a heavy book when I was not ready, then if I didn't start it in the sprints, I like just wouldn't read it. And I think like that would have happened to me last year with the Kite Runner. When I got the Kite Runner, I think I just wouldn't have read it if I didn't start it during the sprints. But I'm glad that I did read it, but it was heavy. After I finish working on some college assignments, I'm going to try to finish my first nonfiction for this month and then work on my spin, and then I get to go to the library. Oh, nice. What a lovely day. It's great that you've read the Odyssey. That together with Hamlet and probably some basic knowledge of the Bible is the best prep for Ulysses. Oh, okay, nice. Well, I have read all of those. Feels weird to say that I've read the Bible. I grew up religious and going to church, so I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the Bible. Not so much these days, but I was very familiar with the Bible growing up. Oh. No, you wouldn't struggle. The title is Hydra. Oh, okay. Look at me speaking German, basically. Regarding Emmylou costume, the dark wig absolutely didn't work. So I can post a picture on Patreon. Yay, one later, but she will be blonde. Okay, please do. Yeah, in like the Discord or something. That would be awesome. Good morning. Reading Nova Scotia House by Charlie Porter today. Awesome. Nearing the end of a 40 book. You're reading Discworld? Oh my gosh, props to you. Impressive. I thought that I was going to join in on Win from Literary Diversions did a read along. Actually, I think they're still going. Like, I think that's still happening. And I couldn't. I think I made it like a little bit into the first book and I was like, I'm actually not ready for this, it turns out. I want to read Terry Pratchett, but that's going to be like when I'm retired, like that's what I'm doing. I'm reading Discworld. And in the middle of a 28 book series, Sharp by Bernard 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 Cornwell. Oh my god, I need some standalones and trilogies in my life. Yes, I'm doing a trilogy right now. Oh, I'm in the middle of 4 books. Dang it. One of them I'm just listening to on audiobook, which is the second book in the Silo series that I was like kind of meh on the first book, but probably because the first book is mostly the first 2 seasons of the show, which is why Curtis and I are reading them to begin with. And now the second book is like so different, and so I think that that's really what's getting me, and I'm flying through it. So I think that I'll just probably read through this trilogy before getting back to my other series. But that's good. I wanted to allow myself to do that going into the year. It still feels wrong. Like my knee jerk reaction is to be like, no, I need to read the other books I've been in the middle of for longer. Wriggly Little Hands is self-published by Alex Knight. Oh, I've been trying or thinking about reading more self-published books in general. I never hear about them. So now I've heard about one. Unfortunately, I'm not huge on cozy fantasy, but to be fair, I've only tried like one cozy fantasy book. So maybe I could be. On book 35, they are light reads. Yeah, they are small, so that's good. Weird Woman Book Club is hosted on Discord. The stories selected are a little off. I like that. I love books about women by women that are a little off. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into our first reading sprint. I said it early on, but I'm just going to be editing for this first one. I have a video that's going up after this live stream's over. So finishing up that. And then if I finish that in time, then I'll be picking up The Little Friend by Donna Tartt to read a little bit of this today. But we will get started with the first 40 minutes. There we go. So happy reading, everybody. Okay, I didn't even hear a timer sound that time. I might have turned my volume down too low because it scared me too much during the last time we sprinted together. But how was everybody's first sprint? I got a fair amount of the video done, did not finish. I didn't realize my laptop was like actively updating when I opened it. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll wait for that. And it's like a UI update. Ugh. So I have to get used to a new UI, but it's fine. Here on my lunch hour at work, hey, we'll be reading a student's essay. Okay. Can you tell us how it is? On the story graph challenges, there's actually a way to select a second book and not display it. I haven't been able to figure that out. Not a huge deal, just curious that it's been mentioned. Yes. And I did pull up, I've got story graph up. So let me share that real quick. Okay, and let me make me smaller. Boop. So this is the story graph page for the TBR Spin challenge, but this I'm pretty sure works for any challenge. I don't think I have any special settings on this. But for example, we've got February. If I wanted to add more to it, you can do this either from the challenge or you can do it from a book itself, like if you're just looking at the books page. But I can search up something else to add to this. I don't know what. We'll put the little friend since that's what I've got next to me. Even though I've definitely read from Donna Tartt before. So you can just, if I click this, it'll add it, and I don't want to add it. Well, I guess I could probably remove it. We'll add it. Hopefully I can. We'll see. But then you can also hit hide from prompt. And then other people don't see it, but you can see it. So this is my workaround that I personally use for if I DNF a book. And I still want it to mark the challenge as complete. So for example, if I had DNF'd The Invisible Man, then I would say, I would have that be added to there like publicly so everybody could see it because that was my pick for it. But then I would also put some other book that I actually finished. And then I would say hide book from prompt since it's not my actual book for that, but I just wanted to mark it as complete. That's how I do it. So hopefully that works for others. Okay. And let's put my other thing back up. Boop. Okay. I feel like this book is going to take me forever to read, despite being only 198 pages based on how that went. I assume, yeah, you're reading. This is how you was a time where, yeah. But at least now you've got a feel for it. It hopefully isn't as scary because you've started it, maybe. Read 15% of Cleopatra, and I have Canada versus Colombia baseball on in the background. Oh, fun. I feel like I haven't watched baseball outside of like a sports bar in a long time. And that's like, because it just happened to be on at a sports bar, not like I went there to see it. I had my breakfast and coffee, and I'm about to start Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter. Sounds lovely. Sounds very cozy. There are so many books with cats coming out right now. Like so many. Also, there was a moment when I thought we were going to have all three cats on this is a heated blanket. That's why they're in it. And also it's like draped over a cat bed, which is what Klaus is enjoying right now. We do have all three cats in the room. Just one of them you can't see. Finished my college assignments and my nonfiction book. Awesome. Hidden libraries, 10 out of 10. I'm autistic and libraries are my special interest. Now I'm updating my reading journal. Oh, that's awesome. Hidden libraries. Okay, I'm gonna look that up because I don't know what that could possibly. What is a hidden library? A 60-page. Oh, I'm gonna star it. This is what I've started doing. I've started starring things so that I can remember to go back and look at books later. I don't think you can see it on your end. But it's for me. Whenever there's a book mentioned that I'm like, oh, I need to look that up later, because otherwise I have to scrub through my video, which I have done because I've been like, oh, there was some video that somebody or a book that somebody mentioned that I really wanted like to look up. It sounded really good, and then I have to like scrub through my own live stream, which I don't enjoy doing. 60 pages read, very productive, awesome. Also received another Stephen King hardcover in the mail, trying to collect nice copies of all his hardcovers. Oh, nice. Made it to 36%. Awesome. I think you're reading Hydra, right? The German book for your book club. So making good progress. I think you'll make it in time. Read 10% of Really Little Hands. Oh, you don't have the hide from prompt button? Okay, I'll look at my settings. Is that okay? Wait, were you looking at the TBR Spin Challenge or a different challenge? If it was a different challenge, then I'll see if I have like any special settings in mind. I don't think that I do though. I am like some special member. I pay money to Storygraph to like be a part of their thing. I've been doing it since I think it was in beta that I started it. It might have been after. It might have been when it was like announced or released. But I mostly do it just because I really like the people that run Storygraph, and I think the creator of it, she's awesome. So it's like something that I'm like, and it's very cheap for like a year to do, compared to other things. So maybe that's why. Interesting. I finally decided to DNF my book for February TBR Spin. I wanted to like it as it was written by a local author, but I really did not like the writing style. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, I feel like I always like especially want to like local authors. I was at a bookstore last weekend and there was a local author there and she had a book that had just been up for the was it the National Book Award? I'll have to look it up, but I hadn't heard of it. It was a collection of short stories, and I think it was like Indigenous and Mexican. And like that's her background, but she was just like in the store and she signed the copy that the store had. And then they like took a picture and everything, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like she looked so. She was just like in like a baseball cap and like very casual clothes. And then I ended up following the bookstore because it was my first time there. It was really cute. And I was like, oh, they do events and everything. I'll have to follow them. And then my friend and I were like sitting down to lunch, like looking at their Instagram because we had just followed and like they'd already posted the picture of the author. And we were like, oh, that was the author of that book. I mean, in fairness, I did not realize she was signing it in the moment. I didn't realize she was signing that book. Otherwise, that would have been like really crazy. There are libraries both in Antarctica and in space. What? I didn't know that. Okay, I don't see the option in the app. Weird. Is there if I'm the creator of the challenge? Oh, I always thought that. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. That stinks. I guess then what I used to do before I had that option is add just like a book that I've already that I have read and just didn't care that it didn't match whatever the prompt was. So I mean, I would do that. I can hide it if you want to do that, but you don't want other people to see it. You can just ask me to hide it from the prompt, and I'm more than happy to do that. But also, like, I think it's okay that it's not. I sometimes get recommendations like through going through prompts like that, but for TBR Spin in particular, since we already are pulling from like a selection of books, that's not typically a way that I would discover. Like it makes sense for Herkiad to look at and see like, oh, what did people use for like their queer like intersex book or something, and like then you find a lot of options that like meet that criteria. But for TBR Spin, like that's not really a part of it. So like I'm okay with you just like adding a book that you've completed if you want to use that as like the fix for DNFing. Joined during the last sprint, reading a 5-year sentence by Bernice Rubens for Dewathon. Is Dewathon Dewey's 24-hour readathon? Is that the same thing? Has it changed? I've never participated. I've just heard of it. I don't have that button either, but maybe it's a premium Storygraph feature. Yeah, I think. Okay. And Sam, you're a premium. Yeah, it must be the creator then. You're right, not as scary. Good. Glad I started it for sure, especially because now I know that I need to set aside a good chunk of time for it despite the page count. Yeah, that's true. That's a good thing to know now. I think they're still working on adding the hide button to the app. Okay. Yeah, maybe eventually they'll have it for everybody. I wonder if they've just, because I feel like I really love having it. Like, I think that that's a great feature. So maybe they'll, and like from a not competition, challenge participation perspective, not just a challenge creator perspective. So maybe if they hear like enough of that, they'll add it. They take suggestions all the time. I'm gonna start Stephen King book called Dreamcatcher. Awesome. Lots of Stephen King happening today, or talk of Stephen King. I feel like the last sprint we had too. 399 pages into Grace of Kings. Not paid, don't have a hide button. I'm very slowly chipping away at Flashlight after the Women's Surprise log list was announced. I'm so happy it was on the list. Can't seem to click with the writing. Too much telling, not showing. I get that. I can see that. It's a very like slow book too, and it like super descriptive and a lot of scene setting. Personally, I love that. So I really love the book, but I can see it not being for everybody. I think I even said that in my initial review of it. Was like, I don't think everybody's gonna like this, but I really like it. And oh, there was another channel that just she read it based off my recommendation, and I was really nervous about it, but she ended up really clicking with it too. So it was okay. I read the first story in The Age of Calamities, loved it. Yay! Also don't know the hide and pay for your subscription, so I wonder if it's in beta. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they just started with the creators of the challenge. I wanted to get dinner during the break, but Black Cat said no. He's currently sleeping on my lap. Oh. Yeah, usually second sprint is the time that Zuko comes in, but he seems pretty happy sleeping on top of the bookshelf, so we'll see. Kayla Books and Lala has said she used the Tide books that people have added that don't meet the prompt, so that might have been the intent of the option. Yeah, it totally makes sense that that was the purpose. I thought that that was the purpose for everybody, or like it was a thing everybody could use to do other stuff as well. For TBR Spin, adding a second book you actually liked next to the book you DNF'd is kind of like balancing the vibes. Yeah, that's true. I just made the suggestion to offer the hide button to all participants in a challenge. Oh, yay. Thank you for putting that in there. And if other people go in, I believe you can upvote suggestions that have been made. So Dewathon is a readathon to read Welsh books in March, named after Saint David, Dewi Saint Sant in Welsh. I don't know how to pronounce anything in Welsh. All the letters confuse me. They look like our letters. They sound different. What advantage does the hide button have if you are a participant in the challenge? What do I miss here? I just use it to if I if I DNF'd, because a DNF doesn't count towards a challenge. If that ends up happening, then like that's awesome, and I'd prefer that, honestly. But what my workaround right now is to add the book that I DNF'd on there, and then add another book that I did finish but hide it from the challenge, because I just want it to say that the prompt is complete, that I completed it. So the hidden book will make sure that that counts. But the book that displays for me is the book that I DNF'd. So that's that's how it works in my head. But so as a participant, that's how I use it. And I never go through to remove or hide books that don't fit the prompt itself. Again, for TBR Spin, I feel like it's a different than other challenges. But anyways, let's go ahead and do another sprint. I'm going to finish the video and then jump into The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. Okay. Second reading sprint done. How did everybody do? I finished the video, so it's uploading now, but I won't publish it until after this live stream is over, obviously. And I did the thumbnail for it. I still have to write the description and stuff, but besides that, it's done. And then I got into the little friend, or back into, I should say. And I read a really not fun part. But it is nice to be getting new material out of the book, because I made it to 130 pages in, and I'm now just past that. So that's really nice to originally I was planning on just continuing where I was, because I did remember quite a bit of it, but I'm glad that I went back, because there were little bits that I had kind of forgotten, and also just getting into the writing style again, and getting to know all the people that are in the town, because she does a really good job of that. I feel like I know a lot of this town already. This is for Storygraph. I made a suggestion a while ago that there should be a box to tick to make a DNF count, and I think they are considering it. Yeah, I think you were talking about that, and I would really love to see that. That would be awesome. 18% of Cleopatra this time. Now less than an hour left. Nice. Oh, you're so close. Made it halfway through the book and also made dinner. Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah. You're definitely going to be good for book club. Are you liking it? I am really liking The Little Friend. I don't know. What do you guys do when you're reading long books? Do you break it up to read a little bit at a time to make it less intimidating? Or do you just say this is going to be my main book and I'm just going to be in it for a while? Because I think that's always what I'd prefer to do. But then when I actually am confronted with the idea of starting a long book, I'm like, well, maybe I won't, because there's other books that I want to read too. But now I'm kind of wishing that this was my only book for the moment, but it's also just such slow progress reading through. Even each individual page takes me longer to read in this book than a page of a different book. So it's kind of tough in that way. And I feel like it is kind of nice to have other books going that I am making more progress in. I don't know. Read 35 pages. My black cat is still on my lap. It is reading time. Yeah, I got visited by one cat, and now he's back in his bed. 40 pages into We Are Green and Trembling. Nice. Wasn't able to read that sprint. Kids needed attention. Ready for the next sprint. Yeah. I just stick with the long book. Yeah. I think I would like to do that. I think if it's a fantasy or something, then I usually stick to that. But those move faster than a literary fiction long book. Or at some point this year, I'm planning on reading Long Walk to Freedom. And I don't know if that can be my only book, but maybe if I did this plus an audiobook or something, if I was still just listening to the Silo trilogy, and then this was anytime I was physically reading, I was reading this, I feel like that would go well for me. So I might do that. I might, once I finish the other shorter. Oh, but also I just remembered, I don't have this book as an ebook from, maybe if that comes up, then I will, because I can't read this in bed. There's absolutely zero way I'm reading this in bed. So the ebook is kind of imperative for it being the only book I'm physically reading. I'm not reading the book club book. Oh, I'm reading The Witch from International Booker. That works too. That's important as well. I might do an easier read audiobook in parallel to listen while doing errands, chores, and things. Yes. Yep, that's what the Silo trilogy is for me. I keep forgetting what the name of the second book is. I think it's Shift. Yeah, it is, because they talk in shifts, almost like work shifts. Good morning. Glad you woke up to be here. And for long books, I figure out the date by which I want it done, and then read X pages per day to that deadline. Yeah, that's because I wanted to read this in March, so I figured that out. I think it was 22 or 23 pages a day, and so I generally do 20 to 25 a day. That's what I've been doing, and that's what's gotten me to where I am. I do think that I'm going to keep going until I finish chapter 2, the chapters in this. I mean, if any of you have read well, anything by Donna Tartt. But The Secret History is long chapters. This is 7 chapters long. It's also 700 pages long. So, but yeah, I think I'm pretty close to the end of chapter 2 now. So I might just read to that today, even though that's a bit more than I was initially planning. Doing that with the Romanovs by Bag Montefiore, maybe right now, 20 pages a day. Yeah, that's good. I break up long books by chapter or parts and read something else too. Okay, it seems like that's a popular take. I really love long books. I read pretty fast, so I feel like I get to immerse myself more when they are long. I always stick with it. Nice. I do feel very immersed, and I think that's what like this book is very immersive, which I do love. I almost wish that it was like really hot outside and then I was like sitting outside reading this, because it just has that vibe to it, which was working because spring was basically here, but then it did snow yesterday, which I will not complain about. I was very happy to see snow. And we'll read other books at the same time. I'll be back after lunch. See you soon. See you then. I usually read multiple books at the same time, something for every mood. Yeah, I almost always am reading multiple. I at least always have like an audiobook versus like a physical book. But then sometimes it's like an audiobook, a book for in bed, and then a different book, which I guess maybe is what I've got going on now. I finally made some progress in hopscotch. It's not the longest book, but it's so difficult that it's a daunting task for me. Yeah, I get that. Setting daily page goals. Yeah, I think that also that kind of helps with me getting into a book, because I do think that generally when I do that, I get to like maybe halfway through and then I start reading it more regularly and I don't need the page count as much. But in the beginning, to like keep that motivation going and to get me really into the book, it helps. Even if I'm reading a chunky book, I have other books going in different formats, reading before bed, doing chores, etc. Yeah. My ADHD needs the switch up of having several books in progress and the satisfaction of finishing other things while I work on a long book. Yes, I need that. I think that's my problem. I need the satisfaction of finishing a book every once in a while. That's when I accidentally got stuck scrolling, but I also read 15 pages of my book. I mean, that's still good. That is still good. I actually have a day off to join and read. Yay. Oh, I'm so glad. Do you like the audiobook for the solo series? I started Wool a while back on ebook and found it similar to the show, and I wasn't even really invested. Sounds like your experience was similar. Yeah. I did like the audiobooks. It did take me a while to get through Wool. I just kind of listened to it whenever I felt like listening to an audiobook, rather than being like, oh, I could do this thing because then I'll be able to listen to the audiobook, which is more the audiobooks I prefer, because those will get me to do like tasks I don't want to do, like cleaning and stuff. So I feel like Wool was kind of like that for me. I mean, it does vary a lot from the show, but it still follows a lot of the same like big plot points. And then at the end of the first book is kind of like the end, what would match up with the end of the second season of the show. But Shift is so different. So I would say if you can make it there, like I am having so much fun now. I'm absolutely loving listening to Shift. I like finished Wool like 2 days ago and I'm like halfway through Shift already. So I went a little nuts once I got there. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to keep going. I was just like, let me just try listening to a little bit and like see what the vibe is. And I was hooked. I DNF'd a little friend because I didn't feel like being trusted to understand the characters. It was too much of the same with regard to the character work. Interesting. I am loving the characters currently. So hopefully that'll continue. Currently reading the 5th season. Oh, awesome. I want to read it again soon. I hate when authors think their readers are too stupid to understand and they think they have to hold their hands all the time. Oh, like you didn't feel like you were being trusted by Donna Tartt to like understand the characters. Okay. I haven't gotten too much of that vibe yet. Maybe it's because the other book I'm reading right now is a YA where I definitely am getting that vibe. I feel like she does not trust me at all to know the characters and understand like their motives and stuff. But this one, so maybe it's like the juxtaposition, like this, I feel like I'm being trusted a lot more. But yeah, I haven't gotten that feeling so far. I really liked Wool when I read it, years ago, but I never finished with the series. I thought the book was better than the show, though. I don't know if it's because I watched the show first, but there's a lot of characters that are different in the show versus in the book, and I like the changes that they made. But I recognize that they had to make those changes to do certain things, like, with the show. Like, it wouldn't have made sense if those characters were the way that they are in the show in the books. So, like, you couldn't just plug them in there, but I do really like what they did with them. Um, Specifically, Bernard, I think show Bernard is a vastly more interesting character than he is in the books. And also Solo. I won't say anything more. um, but yeah, but it might just be because I watched the show first. I did still enjoy the book, especially as we like got the differences. And there are things about the book version that I like more. I like Lucas more in the book, which I feel like makes sense. We just get a lot more of him. Um, but yeah, and like some characters were barely existent in the book, but they like became real full characters in the show. So I think that that kind of helped me too. I am kind of glad I watched the show first though, because I think that if I had read the book first, because there are a lot of differences, I think I would have been like, "What is this? Why is it so different?" What's considered a long book in your opinion? I mostly read fantasy, and those tend to be bigger on average than other genres. I typically count anything over 500 pages, but I do feel very differently about a long fantasy versus a long anything else. Like a long fantasy, I will definitely just focus on reading the fantasy because they're just more readable in general to me. I mean, sometimes I might struggle like early on, and like older fantasies maybe don't fall. Like I'm kind of terrified to read Robert Jordan to read The Wheel of Time, but eventually I'm going to do it. Um, so yeah, maybe that one I don't, but like if I was reading like Mistborn and stuff, like that is a long book in how I classify long books, but it does not feel like reading this. Like this feels way more intimidating to me than that book does. I liked Shift and Dust more too. Wool was written as a short stories, yeah, that were stitched together, so the other books seem more cohesive. Yes, I did. I learned about that as well, and I do think that that is a big part of why Wool feels the way that it does. But that being said, every new section is kind of exciting, like in a way, or like it renewed my excitement when I would get to a new section because I knew it was based off or it was a different short story, even though we are following like the same characters throughout the book. But Shift already feels so much more cohesive, like you said, than Wool did. I'm on book 11 of Wheel of Time, and I agree that the pacing is pretty variable across the book. Sometimes it feels slow, and then the action moments pull me back in. Yeah, Curtis read all of the Wheel of Time um, recently, and I'm still nervous about it. I have the first book, and I have like random ones that I found in little libraries and used bookstores. Which I shouldn't do. I stopped doing that because you can find them in like every used bookstore. So I did stop getting them because I was like, you need to read the first book before you go and do that. Uh, Anyways, let's go ahead and do our third reading sprint. Happy reading, everybody. Okay, another reading sprint done. What was that, our third? How did it go? Very cute. I did make it to the end of chapter 2 in The Little Friend. So, and it seems like chapter 3 is even longer, but that's okay. Because honestly, I kind of like forget that there are chapters in this book until I get close to the end of one. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. These are chapters. But I think that that's all that I'm going to read today of The Little Friend. And then I think I'm going to swap to The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, my TBR spin pick. And I'm going to attempt to get to page 50 and then make my actual decision on if I want to read the full book or not. I'm not super hopeful, if I'm honest, but I do want to like give it more of a chance than I've given it so far. I had no idea Wool was a collection of short stories. Yeah, I read it probably 7 or 8 years ago at this point, but never clocked that. Yeah, it's crazy. I think like over the course of 2 years or something, were the short stories, and then it all got published together. So I think it started getting released in like 2011, and then in 2013 was the whole thing. I don't know. I looked all of it up. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to hit my mic. I looked all of it up at one point, but it's fuzzy in my brain now. I'm reading the last book in the TSLT. Oh, is that an I? The Summer I Turned Pretty, maybe? Series? So I read that one. I read that series, but I barely remember it, honestly. I read it because I was traveling and I was reading a lot of like heavy books, and I was like, I need to mix this up with some lighter books. I was on a very long trip, and sometimes I just needed something real light. And so I ended up reading through that trilogy. 20 pages left in my book. Awesome. Yay. Wow, you were so close. Finish that chapter at the chime. Love it. Another 60 pages. Only 8 pages left. That's awesome. Yes, go Amelia. 35 pages for me. That's great. Reading The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. How are you liking it? Is it good? Last ditch attempt at finishing the fantasy bingo board. Does that run? When does that run? I thought that was a year-long thing, but is it not? I'm a bit confused by some of the choices International Booker made this year. Interesting. What about it? I want to know. I feel like I don't know. I know we were talking about the trends that we saw in like the books before reading them. I still haven't decided what I want to read from it. I switched to my audiobook that sprint so I could get ready for the day. It's an essay collection about obscure US government jobs called Who is Government? Wow. Oh, what kind of jobs are in it? I'm kind of curious. I'm about a fourth of the way through my March TBR stack pick. That's awesome, especially this early in the month. Did you read My Friends by Bachman? I remember you used to love his books. Yes, I have read My Friends. I would say it's kind of middle of the road Bachman for me, but I feel like it's going to be some people's favorites of his, if I had to guess. But I think nothing really touches. For me, I really loved A Man Called Uva and Anxious People, and also Beartown, the first Beartown book. I sometimes forget how much I loved Beartown because I feel like the books afterwards weren't super necessary in that, because it was ended up being a trilogy, and I almost wish that it was just a standalone book personally. But I also just think that Bachman shines in standalone books. I think he's really good at them. And I think it's one thing to like take a character in one of the books and like write, more about that character, like with My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, taking what's her name from that. I can't remember her name now, which is bad because then that means that I can't remember the title of her book. But taking that character and like exploring that more, I really loved, because I actually really love that book, her book. Now I can't remember her name. But yeah, I did read My Friends last year, And I did like it. It was still readable. I also don't know if I don't think that I enjoy his writing style as much as I used to, unfortunately. And I can't really explain why. There's some authors that kind of have this quotability about them that I think I used to really love and don't love as much, where like every page has like something you could quote on it and like everything is profound, but then it kind of like dilutes everything to where like nothing's profound anymore. And I feel like he has that. I think Matt Haig has that. I think unfortunately John Green has that, and I really also loved John Green books. But I think that just at this point, I'm not as into them as I was. So that might also be why I didn't enjoy My Friends as much as some of his other books, because I think that just his writing style and my reading style are like diverging. But I'll probably still continue to read his books, honestly, because I do think if I went back and read Anxious People, I would still really like it. Because I think in some books it can really like hit well. I just joined in the sprint. I'm reading Insomnia by Stephen King. Everybody's reading Stephen King. it's Stephen King time, apparently. I thought that was like an October thing, but it is right now, as evidenced. I'm a part of it. It is year long, but runs April till March. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, you don't have much time left, but I believe in you. I loved The Tainted Cup, so good. I thought book 2 was a bit of a step back, but was more of a me thing. Book 3 out later this year. Oh, well, now I want to look into it. I see too many things I want to read. My cat finally released me, and now I can get dinner. Love it. It's a fantasy with a murder mystery plot, which I don't usually like. Ooh, you might not usually like it, but that sounds like something I would like. So far, not disliking it, but also not hooked. Okay, definitely looking into it then. My favorite so far has been the astrophysicist at the JPL/NASA and archivist at the National Archives. Oh, cool. Ooh, that would be cool, being an archivist, I think. I don't really know what that entails, and I just like the idea of it. They also had one on the national cemeteries for military veterans, which I liked a lot. Oh yeah, I didn't really think about that. The 2 books I've read so far have been published in the 80s and 90s, and I get that the English translation is only available now, but they are a bit dated, and there are so many eligible books available. Yeah, true. Just made it to page 200 in The Shining. Great job. That is a lengthy one, and I feel like that one took me a little bit to get into, so I feel like getting the first 200 pages done is awesome. Left of the cat sausage in the background. That is definitely what he is right now. I feel like he got too warm being in like the bed that's covered by the heated blanket, but like not too warm to where he can't be laying on the blanket. I can highly recommend The Tainted Cup. It was a 5-star read for me. Okay, I'm definitely looking into it. I have a friend that works at JPL. Their sad funding has been massively cut. Yeah, the libraries, national parks, like it's not fun to see. I'm glad that they're still going through with the renovation on the library here, although I don't feel like it super needed it. But I do think that they'll probably make better use of the space. It's not that it was like not looking good, but I do think that space-wise, the best choices weren't made, and it can be more of a community center when they do renovate it. But I thought that renovation was going to be axed when their funding was cut. But it's still happening, so that's good. But yeah, you hate to see it. Hopefully things will change and these places will get their funding back, but it'll probably be a few years. All right. We are just coming to the end of the break. This is going to be our last reading sprint for today because I have to eat, and then I'm going to a brewery to play board games with Curtis and some new friends. So very excited about that. But yeah, this will be our last sprint. But just as a reminder, we are going to be doing reading sprints 2 weeks from today, a week from today, the 14th, and then also 2 weeks from then, the 28th, which will be the 8th. Just in case you have to head out during this last sprint. But yeah, happy reading, everybody. Okay, so that was our last reading sprint. How did it go for everybody? Any books finished? I made it like exactly to page 50 of The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, and I think I'm gonna DNF it. How long is it? It's like 250 pages. It's not long, but yeah, so the premise is a girl that's lost in the woods, basically, like during a hike she's going on with her mom and brother, and then she like peels off to go to the bathroom without telling them, or like she tries to tell them, but they're arguing so they don't hear her. And then she thinks she can like cut back through like off trail to get back to them instead of going back to the trail and continuing up. And then at a certain point she starts like listening to her Walkman, and like she can hear like the baseball game on that. She's really into baseball, and I was already like kind of not super into the actual like Lost in the Woods storyline, but then it started getting really into baseball, and I like baseball. Like I actually enjoy baseball. I've been to many baseball games, but like I don't want to hear. This isn't the kind of novel I want to read. So I think I'm okay with saying no to this one. It's not one of his like bigger books, and like both in length and in notoriety. And yeah, like I've said many times, I don't think that I would pick this up today if I was just out at a store, or honestly, even if it was in a little library for free, I don't think that I would grab it. Oh, going to the library this reading sprint. Maybe able to catch the last few minutes. Oh, I hope it was fun. I love playing board games with friends. It sounds so fun. Yes, same. Have fun at the brewery. Sounds like a blast. I'm very excited. Please don't. Don't forget to give it a like. Give this live stream a like. And also, there's going to be a new video on my channel. I'm posting it right after this live ends. So if you're interested in seeing the 20 books that I'm planning on reading in 2026, as well as how my reading the 25 books I wanted to read in 2025 went, then check that out on page 115 of The Tainted Cup. Nice. Didn't finish my book, but did make some headway on chores, laundry and dishes done, and some reading completed. Awesome. Finished my book. Yeah, Amelia, honestly, I was thinking of you when I asked if anybody finished. Thanks for the spirits. Have a nice weekend. You too. Made it past the 50% mark of We Are Green and Trembling. Yes, are you liking it? I joined late, just got back from running a 5K and survived. Yay! Great job. I started at 12% of my book and got to 20%. Awesome. That's still great progress for having just returned from a 5K. I feel like whenever I would do that, I would just nap afterwards. Yes, but I'm worried about the monkeys. Interesting. I got to page 50 in my book too. Pivoted to Artificial Hells by Claire Bishop for a book club. It's a book club where there's an overarching form instead of a specific book. Interesting. Oh, that sounds kind of fun, actually. I can't wait for the new video too. Yay. Ended up getting 25 pages into Artificial Hells. Awesome. A lot of great progress throughout the whole time today. And that's the same with me. I feel like I made progress in a lot of different areas. I was able to come to a decision about my TBR Spin book for March, which is awesome. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. I'll be doing live streams again 1 week from today. And also on March 28th will be April's TBR Spin live stream. So I hope to see you for those. But otherwise, I hope you have a great weekend and see you soon. Bye, everyone.